Hello everybody, my name is Chris Kulvukis. I'm the Protopsaltis at St. Demetrius Greek Orthodox Church in Seattle, Washington, and today we're going to be continuing our lessons on Plagal fourth mode by talking about the Sticheraric genus. Now before we get started, just once again I'd like to say if any of you have any questions about these lessons for me or would like to book some one-on-one private lessons with me, either online or in person, you can go ahead and do so by emailing me at the link in the description below. So let's go ahead and get into it. So just as a quick overview, remember the Plagal fourth mode is based off of ni. Here, just as in the Irmologic genus, in the Sticheraric, it is the same. Just as a little side note, there are pieces in Plagal fourth that are based off of ga. That's a different thing. We're going to be talking about those in a later lesson. And remember, for Sticheraric, which is one of those three genuses that we talked about in our last lesson, Irmologic, Sticheraric, and Papatic, there are more drawn out theses. So it's no longer as syllabic as Irmologic was. Syllables will often have longer, more drawn out theses associated with them. And it's usually used for stichira, such as during Great Vespers, Kyrie Kekraksa, and the following stichira after that, or Doxastika. So let's look at the apichima for this one. So the apichima is ne-agie, ni. So I'll do it on paralagi first, and then on ne-agie. Ni pavu gavu vu pani ni. And now on ne-agie. And even in this apichima, remember all the melodic attractions apply. So this pa is going to be a little bit attracted to the vu here. Just a little bit high, and then remember in Plagal fourth we're in a diatonic scale, so the vu is going to be just a little low. Alright, so let's just dive right into some examples here. So this is an example of a Sticheraric piece, Kyrie Kekraksa, from Great Vespers. Now you already noticed that it looks much longer than our Irmologic version of this exact same piece went, right? Because in the last lesson we looked at Kyrie Kekraksa Irmologic from Vespers. And now here's the same text, but in the Sticheraric melos. So let's just go through it on paralagi, slowly but surely. Go through each little section. I'll stop and explain some things when we get to them, such as this little symbol, these symbols here. And yeah, let's try it out. So, panini nidike nigavu gadi nidigamu gadike nigagavu pavu pani pa pavu gavu vu pani ni ke gadidi ke zoni zo ke di gavu gadi ni Gadi ke ni gadi dike ke ni di. All right, I'm just going to stop there because there's a lot going on here. So the beginning, really nothing crazy, okay? The first thing I want to talk about is starting right here with this thesi here, starting from this martyria of ni. And Just before I go on to that, I know I said there's nothing crazy here, but if you're getting lost in the notation, what I recommend you do is go back and look at my series on how to read the notation of Byzantine music that I'll link in the description. And it has lessons on how to read everything that is in this piece. So if you're getting confused, if you're not sure what some of these symbols mean, go back and watch that video, study the notation a little bit, and then you can come back here so you won't get lost, okay? So let's start here. So here we have a thesi that is leading us into Agia, leading us into that upper tetrachord in Plagal fourth. So when we get to this K here, we need to make sure that we're sharpening it a little bit because it's attracted to this natural zo. And then on the way down, since we're going back down to the, we're taking that zo and we're making it flat, right? Because remember, the zo is unstable depending on how the melody goes. If it's going up to ni, the zo is natural. If it's not going up to ni, hits zo and just goes back down to the, then it's going to be flat. So let's hear what that sounds like. Ni pavugadike. Ke gadili ke zoni zo ke di gagabu gadi gadili. So that ke zo, that ke was sharp, right? Ke zoni zo ke di, and the zoni zo ke di. On the way up, zo. On the way down, zo kedi. And then we have this phthora here, which is something I'll talk about in 1 second. I'm going to sing this phrase one more time before we talk about that. Nidike ke gadili ke zoni zo kedi gagabu gadi gadi. And now we have this here. So this is a the. And this is the first time we're seeing a phthora in the middle of a piece. Now what a phthora is it tells us what note we should be on in any given scale. So right here what we have, this is not a diatonic phthora, it is a soft chromatic phthora. And what does that mean? That means that we are moving into the soft chromatic scale. So far we've been in the diatonic scale this whole time. Here we're going to move into the soft chromatic scale, which is another of our 4 scales in Byzantine music. Now we're not going to get too deep into the theory of the soft chromatic scale right now. All you need to know is that it's basically the same as the diatonic scale, except for the pa and the ke are flat, just a little bit. So we're singing ni pavugadi. If we're starting from here on this the, then we move up to the ke, it's going to be a little bit flat. Okay, so this ke and this ke are a little bit flat. I'll sing it one more time. So just for that little phrase, we're switching scales to the soft chromatic scale, where the ke and the pa are slightly flatter than in the diatonic scale. Now, what we see here is another phthora, just like this, but the difference is that it's a diatonic phthora. So when we see this, we know, okay, we're moving back to the diatonic scale, the scale that we started in. And this is the diatonic phthora of ke. So here we're going to sing ke. Ke, normal, not flat, like we had it in the soft chromatic scale. And then everything else that proceeds goes after is going to be in the diatonic scale. So if I start here from the soft chromatic phthora of the Dhilike keli ga, dhilike keli dhi keli. So you'll hear this ke is back to normal. It's not flat anymore because we have this diatonic thora. And now I'll keep going from this ke. Kedi gavu, vu gavu pani pavu gadi, vu gavu pani pani ni. So here we had that pa on the way up, attracted to the vu, right? Vuga pa ni pavu gadi. Alright, let's keep going. Ni from here. And now we're moving into another agia phrase. So watch out for that sharp ke as it leads up to zo. And the flexible zo, right? Natural on the way up, flat on the way down. Ni. Kezo, di. Kezoni, zo, kezoni, nini, zo, di. So, all that was agia, right? I'll do it one more time. Kezo, kezoni. Kezoni, zo, kezoni, nini, zo, di, ga, mu, ga, pa, vu, vu, pa, ni. So that's this whole thing here. And as you could tell, there's a lot more detail in this when compared to Irma logic. So I'm going to start from the beginning again and go all the way to the end. This time I'll do melos and just try and follow along as best you can. The apígima. Kraxa prose isakuson mu Kyrie kraxa prose isakuson mu prosgesti phonitis deis osmu andoke krayane me prose isakuson mu Kyrie. So there what I sang was a pretty maybe a sterile version of this piece is a good way to say it. I was singing it very, very plain, right? And you'll notice there are a lot of ornamental symbols here. We've got this guy, we got this guy, the psifiston, we've got the varia, we've got all of these petasti, we got a lot of things happening here. And so maybe if I was singing it, if I became really familiar with this piece, right, normally maybe I'd sing it something like this. Kyrie ekraksa prose isakuson mu isakuson mu Kyrie. So again, in the Sticheraric genus, things are more drawn out, right? And usually what that means is that we have more room for ornamentation. So I sang a lot of things here that weren't necessarily on the page, but in the Plagal fourth tone, those are some very common ornaments that you might do to kind of make things a little more interesting, rather than just singing something like Isakuson mu, and then Isakuson mu. Those are all just the klasmata, right? 2 beats each. It's kind of boring. Sakuson mu. Instead, you might go Sakuson mu. Right? Just to make it a little bit more interesting. So that's it for today. Thank you so much to everybody who tuned in. I appreciate it. If you're finding value in these lessons, go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you can know when the next lessons will be coming out. And I will see you in the next video.